And prior to all of those events happening, Jesus had told his earliest disciples, his earliest followers, that it was soon for him to be crucified. The Jesus of the Old Testament, the Jesus of the prophet of old, the ones that the disciples had understood him to be the Messiah. They'd understood him to be the way, the truth, and the life. They'd understood that he was Emmanuel, God with them. And they'd understood that they had walked with Jesus. They'd had great times. They'd seen Jesus heal the sick and cause the blinded eyes to see. They'd seen the master of the universe feed 5,000 plus folks with a little bit of fish and a little bit of loaves of bread. They'd seen all the glorious work of God. They'd seen when he moved into the crowd, the lady with an issue of blood was healed instantaneously because of the glory of who God is. And then Jesus comes along and says some great and powerful words, not only to the earliest disciples that had some heartache, but in verse 1 we could see the right now word that Jesus speaks to us. Life is good. Amen. But life also is hard. Yes. In verse number 1, Jesus, perceiving that his disciples were perplexed, that they were discouraged. If I might go there in my interpretation, I can see the earliest disciples saying, Jesus, let not that happen. Jesus, if they come for you, we'll stand for you. And Lord, you are God in the flesh, and we know that you are the ruling and reigning King. And Jesus perceived that they were discouraged and dismayed, and they were heartbroken, and they were wondering what was going to happen. They were confused. And then the master of the universe comes to the rescue of their thoughts and their hearts. And in verse 1, Jesus simply said, let not your hearts be troubled. Did you catch in verse number 1? Jesus perceives your pain, and he understands your trouble, and he knows your trials. He knows the mountaintops, but he also knows the valleys. And if I might think about it with you, there's some promises about heaven that I want us to just walk around in today. I want us to bathe in the promises of God, because maybe some of you are weary and some of you are worn, and maybe you are on your last leg and you're looking for the last straw, and you're saying, I'm almost ready to throw the towel in, and the pastor just comes by today to remind you that you're a child of God, that God the Father will not leave your side. He'll make a way where there seemeth to be no way, that God will stand in your stead. He'll be your anchor. He'll be your glory, that God of this universe loves you, and he'll never leave your side. He's Jesus, the one that loves you, the one that cares for you. And Jesus stops by and simply says, let not your hearts be troubled. It'll be worth the wait.